Hi, my name is Katie Krummick. I'm one of the instructors for Design Thinking for Social Innovation, and I'm going to be with you, guiding you through the first 5 weeks of this class, and then I'll hand it off to Todd Ferry, who will be with you for the last 5 weeks of the class. I'm excited to be with you. I want to take a chance to just say hello, welcome you to week 2. Also review what hopefully you have accomplished since class started and what the expectations are for this week, and just give you a kind of preview of the content that we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just quickly orient you. So this is the homepage for our class in Canvas. And you're going to want to also take a look at the syllabus. So syllabus is linked here, as well as everything you need for the course, which are in these modules, including the syllabus, the course introduction, etc. So every week you'll have some articles to read, some things to watch, some video clips, including video lectures, and then some tasks to accomplish. And those tasks will primarily focus around 2 activities. So one is gathering with your peer mentor group. And by now, if this is Monday, October 2nd, you should have confirmed that group. And I'll show you, review how you can do that in case you haven't done that yet. And completing design work in our design frameworks for you to move from a problem that is interesting to you towards a solution using some tools and frameworks from design thinking. This course is not going to set you up to start your own social venture, although it could be the first step in that path, right? Think about this first 10 weeks as an exploratory time, a time for you to both learn the tools and the mindsets of design thinking and definitions around social innovation and social entrepreneurship, and also a chance to explore something that's meaningful and matters to you, whether you decide to take it on beyond this class or not. It's an opportunity for you to delve deeper into the problem and learn more about your creative kind of response to that problem. So just to review in terms of what we want you to have accomplished, if you go into week 1 into the application tab and you click on confirm peer mentor group, it'll take you to this Google Doc. And the way this works is that you're going to find your name in one of these groups. You've been randomly assigned as undergraduates and graduate students. And you're going to coordinate with this group of people to find a time that works for all of you. You're going to need to meet 5 times across the quarter, 3 of which are in certain weeks. And you're going to record that by completing a quiz. And the 2 others are optional. So you want to get together over email and figure out what time is in common for everyone. And if you just can't come to a common time, if one person is an outlier, for instance, then you can come into this document again and try and find a group that is meeting at a time that is more aligned with your schedule, and you can ask to join that group as well. So we're not rigid on these groups and who lands where. Again, it was very random, but we don't want the group to get larger than 5 students. So keep that in mind. Hopefully your kind of assigned group can figure out a shared time. And if not, you can come in and find another group. So you'll want to be sure that you go into this link and take care of that. And if you're at the end of the first week, hopefully, because we're launching week 2, you also want to complete these mural tutorials. So mural is an online collaboration tool. We have laid out the frameworks of the design thinking frameworks that we want you to use over the course of the quarter. And you can go into that document and add things to it. And then Todd and I will be able to go in and review, ask questions, leave comments, and evaluate your work on your design project. So where the first week is just getting familiar with that tool if you're not familiar with it yet. These are all pretty short. Some of them are text-based, some of them are video-based, and they'll help you get started. And then if you go to week 2 under apply, and you click this link for the frameworks, you'll find your name again, and you'll want to click on your link. Please don't click on the link if it's not your name associated with it, as that's someone else's work. So we want to make sure that we're not going in there and making changes to someone else's board. I'm going to just log in really quickly to a demo. In case someone's already been in there doing some work, I don't want to click on their board. Okay. So once you click on the link in that Google spreadsheet that looks like this, you're going to land on something that looks like this. Over here, and you should see your name up here where it says demo. So check that title to make sure you're in the right place. And if I've made an error, please send me an email and I'll make sure to make that change. So over here on the far left are some mural tips and some more tutorials if you want to review. The next is a little warm up to do to practice some of these skills from mural. And then you're going to jump into week 2. And so the way that this works is these frameworks are locked. So if you click and see that little lock there, that's okay. That's what we want. You're going to be able to zoom in and add different post-its on top of this framework. So in this case, I'm choosing one of the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN that I want to start to think about and use as my focus for my design work. So I am interested in, let's see, so many of the things, but let's say zero hunger. So I'm going to put here zero hunger. And then the idea is that you can drag in more post-it notes of all different shapes, sizes. You can actually change the color so that you get a kind of color scheme going. Maybe you want to have a circle that represents a node here, and you can change the color there. So you want to add, and then you can double click in here and type different topics. You can also add images that come from the internet. So maybe I want to include healthy foods. You can also click over here and use this search for different icons. So you can add different icons to your mind mapping as well. So you want to go ahead and bring in images. Think about kind of what are all the issues related to your problem space that you're aware of. You don't need to do more research, but thinking about what is it that you want to, what are all the things that knowledge that you have that you want to bring to bear, and just to start to get to organize your thoughts and start to find layers and different nodes from within that problem space. And there's instructions, I should say, also up here on every one of these frameworks. So that should give you some guidance as well. So what you're going to want to do in week 2 is move through these 4 frameworks. And I will say, and we mentioned this in the syllabus as well, the idea of this class is that you're actually going out and doing the design process. Again, in an early exploratory way, in a way that's centered around learning, but is also grounded in the real world, grounded in your personal interests, and gives you an opportunity to explore something that you might want to work on in the future, either through a social venture that you create or an organization or a company that you join. So you'll also notice a couple of other things. There's little notes here that are designed to kind of give you some guidance or tips related to the framework. And there are also links to additional resources, a lot of them coming from the IDEO.org design kit, which you'll explore this week through some videos as well. So if you double click on this resource, it will open and you can read more about this tool. And these articles are very approachable. They're not super extensive, so you can kind of just get a deeper understanding of how to approach this work. So you'll do those frameworks for week 2, and that is a big part of your deliverable for this week beyond reading and watching. I think I mentioned this before, but the other thing to say is, or I didn't quite mention this. So this is based on real work, work in the field, work that matters to you. It's important that you stay on top of this work. So this class is unique in that it is based in work that you're going to be doing, engaging with community members and exploring topics. And it also builds on itself. So it's not the kind of thing that you can wait until the last week of the quarter and then do all of the work all at once and catch up. It really needs to be spread out over the quarter in order to be making progress. Now, you're not going to be evaluated on your design work until the midterm and then at the final. So you have some flexibility between weeks when you accomplish these different things. But because you're going to need to go out and do additional kind of community-based work in order to complete these frameworks, we want you to be staying kind of on top of that weekly rhythm so you don't fall too far behind. And there's little notes here as well placed on your board just to remind you of what you need to do to stay caught up. And if you have any questions, I have office hours on Fridays from 9:30 to 10:30. You can send me an email and we can arrange a different time or confirm meeting together on that Friday. And I'm happy to do more explanation and walking you through these resources. The other thing to say about week 2 is that there is this assignment called the Paseo Protocol. A lot of the content about week 2 is defining human-centered design and its relationship to social problems and social impact, and how I think of the connection between the process and tackling these social problems. It also has some content related to understanding kind of your privilege and your power and what you're bringing as a design thinker to the problem. Whether you're a part of the community that is kind of closest to the problem itself, or you are outside of the community and want to serve the community, it's important to recognize and realize who you are, what you're bringing to your design work, and how others might perceive your position and your power and privilege. So the Paseo Protocol is a really useful tool for working with a partner and exploring some of those identities and that privilege or lack of privilege that you might have in any given context. Because this is identity work, it is not going to be graded. You don't need to turn it in, but I highly recommend that you find a friend, a roommate, a colleague, a partner, to go through this activity with and do that personal kind of identity reflection. The other thing to say, the third big component of the course, besides a couple of additional assignments, is the discussion group. So we created the peer mentor groups, and we created a series of discussions because this is an online asynchronous class, and we want to help everyone to feel connected to each other, connected to the thinking and the work that's going on in the class. And we want to do that both by connecting in small groups, kind of in a live session, and then also through the discussion prompts in Canvas. So if you go to the discussions, you'll see each week has a discussion prompt, and you want to go in there, reflect on that, write a thoughtful, high quality response to that question. And in order to kind of complete this process for each week, we want you to make a contribution and respond to someone else's. So if you do those two things, you'll receive full credit. And they're thoughtful, again, and adding something to the conversation. I think that's it in terms of how the class is going to be working. If you have any questions, or if you're having any difficulty, or if there's any errors in the links, or if your peer mentor group is struggling to find a time, please don't hesitate to reach out over email or during office hours, and we will problem solve and figure things out together. I think that's all from me. I'll be making these kind of introductory videos every week to highlight assignments that are due, highlight content, and kind of the intention of each week, reviewing the design frameworks as well. So stay tuned for more of these videos, these introductory videos. I hope you enjoy the lectures and the readings and the other videos we put together. And I'm really excited to see what social problems you all select, and the thinking and the design work that you start to do around understanding that problem and seeing opportunities to solve that problem. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week.